Hello, Village, and thank you so much for tuning in to Twana's Movie Review. My daughter told me about a movie that I had to watch. So, the backstory to this whole thing is that I am a retired cosmetologist, and she told me about this movie, Bad Hair, and I had to watch it. I've seen Good Hair. That was a movie that came out long, long, long time ago. And it was so funny because I believe, wasn't it Chris Rock that was in this movie, and he was at a hair show in some different places, and he was in barbershops and salons talking about what's the difference between good hair and bad hair. So now, here it is, 2020, and we have a movie called Bad Hair, and she said, you need to watch it. It's a really good movie. I said, like, how good? And she goes, I'm telling you, you would like it. She was like, Mother, I know you. You're going to like this movie. Well, what really happened is she freaked me out with this movie. Okay, so the good part about this movie is that it is a comedy. But if you don't like horror, if you don't like thriller, if you don't like any of those types of films, you probably shouldn't watch this. Okay, it was written and directed and produced by Justin Simien. And this movie came highly recommended. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival January 23rd, 2020, and it is streaming on Hulu. So I shared my Hulu with her so she could watch it at her house. And when I tell you, she just was floored. She thought this was the best thing since ice water or something. And I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? The first few minutes, I would say 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the movie, you can't stop watching it. Like, you're already hooked. That's how deep this is. There's a plot. And in this plot, this girl named Anna is an assistant at Culture, which is a television station featured kind of like Soul Train for us, but it's really Culture. Kind of like if BET brought back some of their old shows that they used to have. That's kind of what Culture was brainstormed around, if you will. When we used to have the video shows and they would talk and they would do the videos, and there was an audience out there, and so that's kind of what it reminds you of. And then with the dancing and everything, it reminds you of Soul Train. And so there was a lot that the writer took from all of our, back in the day stuff, even when MTV, VH1 had just all day long, music videos. Like, this was that type of channel. Culture was that type of channel. And Anna stars in this as a little girl, and she was adopted, apparently. She was adopted. And her adopted sister said, you've been with our family for a year. It's time for you, to change your hair. You need to change your hair. And so she was trying to relax Anna's hair. And she got the scar in the back of her head. And so the movie starts then. Well, what you may overlook is that Anna wants to be a DJ. She ends up being a VJ because this is, the age of video. So she wants to be a DJ, and she records herself all over the place. Everywhere she goes, she has this little toy cassette tape player, and she records herself, DJing and all of this. And it's so cute, but she knew from day one what she wanted to be. She wanted to be a DJ. She wanted to tell people about, great music. And she learns as an adult that her look will only take her so far. So in comes the cast, the whole cast, which has Kelly Rowland, it has Laverne Cox, it has Shantae Adams, it has James Vanderbeek, it has Usher Raymond the Fifth, it has Blair Underwood and Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams is the new boss that comes in and asks Anna about her hair. There's a lot that goes on between when she was a little girl, and she got the scar in the back of her head up until the time she actually landed a job as a VJ at Culture. Um, and you literally have to watch. I mean, you literally have to watch. Like, you can't be texting and watching. There's so many little elements to this film that is amazing. As time goes on, Vanessa Williams comes in and she's the new boss and she's making changes. Somebody else has bought Culture, and the new name is going to be Cult, which should have been a dead giveaway for a lot of people. A lot of people did leave, but Anna was determined she was going to make this work. And so there were several different meetings that happened, and Vanessa Williams, her character, approached Anna and was like, what are you going to do about your hair? You know, long story short. And she gave Anna a card, and Anna went to the salon, and she says, I don't have an appointment, but, you know, this came highly recommended. The receptionist was giving her a hard time. She told her it was going to be a certain amount of money. She looked like, what? So anyway, Anna got the money. Can't tell you how, because I'll be giving away the whole story, but somehow she came into some money. So she was able to pay Laverne Cox, which is the hairstylist, and she was able to pay for a weave, not necessarily the weave that she got. And the plot thickens right there. This weave is not like the weave me and you would go to the salon and get, and it was extremely excruciating for Anna. She had never had anything done to her hair since that day. She was just natural. There were no braids, you know, or anything like that. She's very tender-headed. But when you see the process that Laverne Cox's character puts Anna through, you will see why it was so excruciating. And she fainted. She completely passed out. And when she woke up, you know, she was looking in the mirror and she couldn't believe that she could look like this. After that comes a lot of thriller scenes, and it leaves the thriller, you know, scenes and goes into horror scenes. And the hair that she has on her head will seem to be the problem, but it's not necessarily the hair. The hair is a vehicle for something else that is horrifying. And for me, like at the end of this movie, I was like, I don't know if I ever want to get a weave again. I don't know if I ever want to get sewing again. But there was so many things. She had to move out of her apartment. Anna moved back in with her uncle and aunt, and they have these books that go all the way back to Africa, and you know, the different things, the lifestyle, you know, the different tribes in Africa, you know, how they lived. And she found out some information as she started doing some digging around, you know, being in the job that she's in. Fact finding is second nature for Anna, and so she finds out some information, and she is desperate to get this hair off of her, but she can't. The end of the movie is amazing. I can't tell you what happens, but in my opinion, I definitely say watch this movie. Okay? If you have Hulu, if you have a friend, a cousin, a niece, a nephew, a uncle, a grandma, parents that have Hulu and you don't have Hulu yet, you need to get this. You need to see this film, especially if you are like me. I love different hairstyles. I don't like to have the same hairstyle every day. And I have this year, only this year, have I come in contact with lace fronts. I have seen them. I've actually installed them, but I never wanted to wear one myself until this year. And my daughter taught me a lot about that. I taught her a lot about weaves. the sew-in and stuff, because that's my era. And so now, she's been teaching me about lace fronts and stuff, and I've been doing, some digging around to see where this hair comes from, and just who possibly it could have belonged to. This, you know what I'm saying, especially when it's a human hair. My first experience with lace fronts was not human hair, and so needless to say, it started out great, but then it would turn into a wreck because it's not human hair, it's synthetic, and you can only revive synthetic hair so many times, and then you have to give it up. And then it depends on what type of synthetic it is, because there are different materials. And so a lot of studying goes into, hair, when you want to know, where it came from and how it was processed, and if it's, going to cause an allergic reaction, what the lace is made of, because there are different laces and all of that. And for me, knowing that information and watching bad hair, it came in handy because I understood some things that the normal client would not have understood. But even if you don't dig that deep into where your hair comes from, if you wear human hair, you're still going to get this movie. It's still going to be amazing for you to watch. And I strongly suggest this movie for anybody who, even if you were thinking about wearing a weave, watch this movie. And then you will definitely reconsider who is styling your hair. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you guys take my advice and watch Bad Hair. It is a 2020 film. It is streaming right now on Hulu, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tawny Yvette Speaks today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our other stories on the community tab. And if you have a tip on a story that you would like for me to cover and commentate on, please click on the About section and contact me anytime. Again, thank you so much. And until next time, live on purpose. Bye for now.